rundown of what your duties are going to be as VPPR. How many of you are club officers for the first time? How many of you have done this before?
Not this particular one.
Not this particular one, okay. But what about you guys in the back? Sir? In the red?
Well, I've been a president a couple of times in the
Okay.
club, but I've never had any training.
Oh, good for you.
This is the first time in like 50 years I had any training.
Good, okay. And so you're interested
Along
in
with
here
him.
then? Okay. Okay, good. This is kind of a rundown of your basic duties. As VP of PR, you will be working hand in hand with the other VPs and the president. Consider your VP of membership to be your mate. You should be joined at the hip. Anything that they do, you need to compliment and vice versa, okay? Your job is to get them in the door. VP of membership is to keep them. Think of it like that. I'm just going to go over these handouts really quickly. The first page is components of a press release. Now, in this day and age, when everything is going digital, print is not as important as it used to be, but there are online press releases that you can put out on free press release sites. These are very useful for helping get your club found online. So if you do have the time to write a quick press release now and then, especially if you have a special event going on, it is well worth it to spend the 10 or 15 minutes to submit it to the sites online. Some of these other things I'm going to go over in a minute. Blogging ideas for Toastmasters. These are also useful for ideas to put on Google+, to put on Facebook, and to put on Twitter as well, if you choose to use those venues to promote your club. The next couple pages are a bunch of links that will be helpful to you if you choose to use social media to help you promote your club. And there'll be a couple of things that I'll reference in the PowerPoint regarding those. Now, Toastmasters Online has a PR corner, and they do have some great links that are useful to people. If you log in and just put in PR corner up in the search box in the top right, you can come to these resources. They do have quite a few downloadable templates and downloadable information packets that can help you with certain things. Now, PR paid. Because Toastmasters generally have limited budgets, you probably are not going to want to go the paid route. But I do want to call attention to these, because if you decide that you have a club that needs a lot of help, there might be a couple of things in here that you can take advantage of that don't cost a lot of money. One of them is Meetup. Meetup costs about $44 a year. They're a group that promotes itself online to area things. You probably won't have a lot of people sign up for it, but it's very good for search engine optimization and getting the word out there. It is something you can sign up for and try for a month or two, and if you cancel it, they will refund the remainder of your money. The other thing is Facebook ads. Now, Facebook has its own ad platform. If you do decide to spend a little bit of money to promote your club, you can do targeted advertising on Facebook. You can do it regionally, you can do it demographically, you can do it by age, by education, and by college. Like, say you're in a college area and you want to target college grads from Columbus to America. Those ads would appear only to CIA grads. So you can go in and create test ads just to see what they look like and see what the options are like. It might be something if you're in other forms of advertising, or if you have companies to go in and investigate as well. Google pay-per-click ads. When you Google something on Google, it's funny how when somebody says, I'm going to search for something online, they don't say I'm going to Bing it. They don't say I'm going to Yahoo it. They say I'm going to Google it. But Google pay-per-click ads are those ads that come up on the right-hand side in yellow and the ones across the top. Those are paid ads. I do not recommend those for Toastmasters. You can spend a lot of money very quickly on it, especially if you don't know what you're doing. TV, radio ads, again, if you have some money to spend and you want to do that, it can be a good source to get the word out there. Print ads, newspaper, other print media. Again, sometimes local newspapers will run ads for free. Now, PR free. This is the part where VP of PR really wants to concentrate. Social media and guest blogging, newspaper event listings and articles. Quite a few newspapers, even the local ones or the big regional ones, if you submit events, they will put them in the print versions and the online versions for free. You do have to spend some time putting them in because you have to put them in consecutively. The smaller newspapers, you have to resubmit them every issue, which, unless you're seeing a lot of results from the ads, don't bother. Online event listings and articles. If you can find some journalists in your area, contact them, invite them to your club. It's a great way to get in the paper, to get online. How many of you have heard of Patch? No, nobody yet, okay. Patch and Patch blogs, and I'll go over that in a second. Networking at business events. Now, Toastmasters isn't technically a business venue, but a lot of people don't know what Toastmasters does. They don't know who Toastmasters is. When I was coming home from a Toastmasters meeting a couple of months ago, it was fairly late at night because our meeting ran long, and it was raining. I don't see that well at night. So in Connecticut, we have the worst drivers on earth. We really do. They should be calling it the tailgating state. That should be our official state motto. Well, I go the speed limit, especially when it's raining, because I don't see well. I got pulled over by a cop. I said, "Sir, is there something wrong?" "Well, you're going, slow." "I'm going the speed limit, I don't see well." "Okay, where are you coming from?" "I'm coming from my Toastmasters club." And he says, "Have you been drinking?" And I said, "You gotta be kidding. This is like some joke out of, somebody made this up." He did not know what Toastmasters was. And he didn't believe me until he made a call through his superior officer. So people don't know what Toastmasters is. You really have to work on getting the word out there. And the reason I bring this up is Chambers of Commerce have networking events that you can go to for free. You can usually go 2 or 3 times and not have any impetus to join. There's also B&I meetings. There's other business networking events. If you can get an invite to a B&I meeting, you have 35 to 50 targeted business individuals that you can hit over the head. Say, "Come to our meeting." And I tell you what, if you go to any B&I meeting and you have to sit through an hour and a half of everybody introducing yourself and listening to all the ahs and ums, you can say, "You need Toastmasters, you need Toastmasters, you need Toastmasters." It's actually pretty funny. So business flyering. If you're in an area that has a lot of businesses, make up some flyers. If you have time to do it yourself, recruit other members of your club as well. Go into area businesses, introduce yourself. Again, people don't know that Toastmasters, and they don't know what they can do and what it does for them. Explain to them it's good for your employees to come to Toastmasters. It will help their speaking skills and their customer service skills. Give them an incentive to come. So business and community TAC board flyering. This is something like print ads that are dying. There are very few places that you can actually put posters up anymore. It is worth it if you can put them up in the church community center and the library. So spend a couple minutes to find some places you can do that. Press releases. Again, very good for search engine optimization. Public access TV. A lot of people don't think about this, but public access TV is always looking for people to come and do programs. I've seen several Toastmasters go and do how to use Toastmasters to promote XXX. It's kind of interesting who watches those things. Now it says, yes?
On the previous chart, you might add letters to the editor of the newspaper.
Okay, thank you. I will add that. That's a very great suggestion.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Well, but it's a great idea. It really is a good idea. Newsletters are something that they tell you as VP of PR you should be doing for your club. When I found these 2 screenshots, it took me about half an hour to actually find a couple of clubs that are spending the time to do newsletters. Newsletters are more to promote your internal club than your external club, but they can be used to help encourage membership through visitors. We actually just started doing a newsletter for our Cromwell Club, and we're starting a book so that when new people come and new visitors come, they can look at our newsletters. Printing them out can be time-consuming and labor-intensive, So if you're gonna do a newsletter and distribute it to members, I would suggest emailing it to everybody. Now, Patch.com. Patch.com is owned by AOL, who also owns About.com. Patch came out in November of 2009. In the beginning, Patch only had a couple of cities, very little geographically spaced. They are expanding at an enormous rate. Last year, Connecticut, for example, only had 7 cities. Now they have the whole list. Now, Patch is neat because you can put all of your meetings online, plus they give you a blurb and a spot. If you take photos of your clubs or your events, you can put up to 250 photos on there. That's free, so take advantage of it. You can put a link to your club website if you have one, and to any other links online that you're using. It's also very good for search engine optimization. And I keep saying that, but that's very important in terms of getting found online. Now, About.com and AOL knows SEO, which is search engine optimization, and Patch comes up very high when people search for things. The other one is AmericanTowns.com. Similar to Patch, not as great for SEO reasons, but they do give you a section for your club and some information. You can put event listings on there. You can also submit your press releases on there, which is kind of nice. Now, press releases, if you just Google best free press release site, this site will come up. It's 70 of the best ones. There are a bunch of aggregate sites, but that SEOdiscovery.org has the best, most up-to-date ones. There's also something called Pressit, ITT.com. And those are social media news release sites. You can also submit your press release on there. Now, how many of you have a club website? Is it a free Toast host site?
It's just the Easy Speak there.
It's easy to speak, okay. Free Toast host is something that Toastmasters provides free of charge for your clubs. You don't have to be very technically savvy to operate a free Toast host site. You might have to have some help with it if you're not. There are some other options. It is very important as a Toastmasters club that you have some sort of presence online somewhere. So either Free Toast Host 2, which is the second generation of Free Toast Host, using a blog as a website. It's a very good alternative. It's also free. There's another one called Easy Speak. Easy Speak, I found, is a little bit more complicated for some people. Some clubs are using Facebook fan pages or Google Plus pages as websites. Again, those are free. Hosted website with a domain. Now, I bring this up because it's kind of a sticky subject. If you have, or if you are, or if in the future you have someone in your club that's technically savvy, and you don't have a club website, and they say, we want to sign you up for CromwellCommunityToastmasters.com, and you have to buy the domain name, and you have to buy hosting for it, both of which are costs, run as fast as you can. The reason for that is twofold, or actually probably more than twofold. If that person leaves, you're screwed. It's costly. You're screwed. That should be enough reasons for everybody. There's a free website builder out there called Weebly.com. It is drag and drop. So if you don't want to go with the other options for setting up a website, check out Weebly. It's really easy to set up. It takes literally 5 minutes to set a site up. Now this is support.toastmasters.org. If you just Google Free Toast Host, you'll come to this page. This is where you would sign up for the club website. There are some forums online that can help you navigate through setting up through any issues that you guys might have. This is what a Free Toast Host website looks like. They don't give you a lot of customization with this. There's 3 different headings you can pick from, that's about it. 3 different color schemes you can pick from, that's about it. They're all pretty much laid out the same way. You have links on the left, of which you can add additional pages to. You can also add additional pages that are private, so they're only accessible by members when they're logged in. This also gives you an online agenda that people can sign up for speaking roles, plus a club calendar. Whether you choose to use either of those options is going to be up to you and your club. Now this is an example of a hosted website. So they paid through GoDaddy or another domain name server between $10 and $20 a year just for the domain name. Plus they paid between $44 and $100 a year for hosting. So just to give you an example of that. This is an example of Newtown Toastmasters. This website is hosted on Blogger. And Blogger is one of the free blogs that you can set up to either use to help promote your club or use as a substitute for a website. I recommend Blogger if you're going to start a blog or sub it as a website. It's very easy to use. Blogger is owned by Google, which means that Google loves it. If you can do Microsoft Word, you can do Blogger. It's very easy. It's got the same formatting. You just hit publish and it's live online. It's also quite customizable. They haven't really done it with us, but you can do a club logo. You can also put links to other things on the side. This is an example of a Toastmasters club on another blog. This is WordPress. WordPress is a little bit more complicated, but you can do more things with it. Both Blogger and WordPress have different templates that you can use, so you can customize the look and feel of both of them. Both of them have a lot of tutorials online about how to help use them if you need that information. As well as I am always available, please call me or email if you run into anything and you need help. Has anybody posted YouTube videos of your Toastmasters club? Okay. If you Google Toastmasters when you log into YouTube, there are thousands of Toastmasters videos. Speeches, how to run a meeting, you name it, it's on there. There's also some of the international speeches from the conferences on there. So there's a lot of content on there. So even if you're not going to use you're not going to use YouTube yourself for your own club, you can use it as a content source. Now YouTube, even if you just post one video, our club, for example, is working on, with our officers, what you get out of when you come to our group. And I've seen some other Toastmasters clubs do that. Hi, I'm blah, 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 and I'm the president. Welcome to our club. And it's a little shorty, it's about 2 minutes. You can post that on your website, but it's very good for search engine optimization. YouTube has a lot of information you can put in there that's searchable by Google and Bing and Yahoo. Now, content sourcing. Member news. Now, you might not think of that, but say you have a member that just won an award for the local chamber for being, best business person in the area. You might want to acknowledge them and tape it, and with their permission, put it on YouTube, because you're helping getting the word out there about your club. So member demonstrations. You have a speech contest. Consider taping it. Now, this is an older version of the Free Toast Toast, but the new one does the same thing. If you have a YouTube video or even other people's YouTube videos, you can embed them into the website. You can also do that on WordPress and Blogger as well. So here's an example of a speech by the Diamond Toastmaster Club. And again, do some searching on YouTube for Toastmasters videos. There's some really interesting stuff out there. Now these are blogs. Now there's 3, I only mentioned 2 before. There's Blogger, WordPress, and Tumblr. Tumblr is really good if you're going to take lots of photographs. Tumblr is more of a photography blog than anything else, not really as much a content management source. But if that's all you want to do is you want to take pictures of your club and post them, that's the route to go. Now, search engine optimization. If you have a club website with Free Toast Toast, Google really does not like Free Toast Toast very much. I have found in the couple of years that I have maintained our club website, they do not do what's called spidering the text very well, which means that Google comes along and looks at it, and then they pick up the information. But Google loves blogs, no matter what format. So member retention. You can post your minutes on blogs. You can post events on blogs. If someone in your group likes to write, whether it's you or anybody else, and it's speaking related, post it on blogs. So member news, new member attraction. If you're thanking somebody for something, take a picture of it or write about it. Google's gonna see that. And a blog doesn't have to be huge. Everybody thinks, oh, it's a blog, I've gotta write a novel, and it's gonna be time consuming. A blog can be a picture and a sentence. That's your post. So don't think of it as time consuming, but think of it as search engine optimization, and think of it as getting the word out there. Did you have a question? No, okay. Now, this is blogger.com, wordpress.com, and tumblr.com. If you sign up for a blog, wordpress.org, the reason I bring this up is you don't want that one. WordPress.org, many people are using as substitutes for traditional websites. It requires a domain name, and requires hosting, and requires someone technically savvy to install it. So it's not something you want. If you Google WordPress, you're going to come to the .org version first. You want the .com one. Now this is our blog, Cromwell Community Toastmasters. This is a blogger blog, for example. Very customizable. You can do a lot of things with it. You can shift the columns around from either side, from top to bottom. You can't wreck this stuff. If you're going to start a blog and you don't know what to do with it, start on a couple of different versions, play with the interiors. You can't break this stuff. That's the nice thing about it. If you decide I want to go with WordPress versus Blogger, you can go delete the Blogger one. This is an example of one on WordPress, for example. Again, WordPress is a little bit more complicated, but you can do more with it. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Okay. Did you guys all hear about the LinkedIn passwords getting hacked?
Mhm.
If you haven't heard about it, or if you have heard about it, one thing to be careful of is they're not only hacking LinkedIn accounts. If you use the same password for LinkedIn at any other thing online, including email, go in and change all the passwords immediately. In the last month, people's email accounts, their Facebook accounts, their Twitter accounts, their bank accounts have gotten hacked if they've used the same password. So it's really important, if you use LinkedIn, change your password. Change them monthly anyway, even if you have a couple sets, rotate them. Now LinkedIn, for attracting new members, I would say it has zero context for PR. But it's a great source of content. There are thousands and thousands of Toastmasters all over the world on LinkedIn. So it's great for connecting with other Toastmasters and other clubs, no matter where you are. Information gathering, answers, and ideas. Your VP of PR, you have a question that was raised in the club that you don't know how to answer. You can go on the LinkedIn forums and ask. There are, again, thousands of Toastmasters that are very experienced that will know the answers that can help you. And a lot of times you'll get answers like that. I've posted things and 30 seconds later I've gotten 2 responses on it. Now there's a lot of Toastmasters groups online. You can start your own group for your own club. I kind of don't recommend that, just because unless all of your group is on LinkedIn and all of the group, could we actually have another 15 minutes? So.
I'm doing it right?
You are doing it right, absolutely. They told us we had a little bit of extra time. Toastmasters groups. Unless all of your members are on LinkedIn, you're not going to go to a lot of activity on it. But go ahead and join some of the other groups. There is so much information out there, and people are so helpful. Now, Toastmasters Facebook. It's good for search engine optimization. Now, I'm going to clarify something. Google can see and Bing can see that you have a Facebook fan page for your club. They cannot see the content you post. Google and Facebook don't get along with each other. So they're just going to see that you have a page. But if you post something about a club event, or you post something about member news, it's not going to pick up on that. That's why the blogs are great, because they like that stuff. It's good for member retention. Everybody likes their pictures. So if you see somebody getting their CC award, take a photo of it, post it on Facebook. So member news, again, if something's happened in your group, something's happened to your members, it's a great thing to put on Facebook. Now there's 3 different versions of Facebook. There's fan pages or business pages, which is what you as a Toastmasters club will want to set up. There are groups. There are public groups and private groups. Again, groups like LinkedIn groups, unless your members are all on Facebook and they're going to be on and participate, groups are not a really good idea to set up, but they are an option if you want to exchange information. Now, when you sign up for Facebook, you're creating a personal account. You don't want to put your club as a personal account. Not only can other people not see it, but it's against Facebook's terms of service. If you were a business, they would pull your page. Now, this is an example of group. You can't really see this, but it says our group. And it's just members talking about things. This is Airline Toastmasters. They set their page up originally as a personal profile. They found out fairly quickly that they did it wrong. And then they set up a fan/business/organization page. You do need a personal account to set up a fan page. The nice thing about fan pages is you can have multiple people administrate them though. So if you have club officers and they're on Facebook, it's usually a good idea to make them all administrators. Again, if you're going to set up Facebook and you need help with that, if you can't find the information, please call me. I'd be more than happy to help. Now this is an example of a fan page. You've got this nice big photo you can put in. You've got your little profile image. Now, traditional marketing, like I said, is very different from Toastmasters marketing. People aren't going to just come across your Toastmasters fan page and say, oh look, Toastmasters, I'm going to fan the page. They don't do that. You have to give them a reason. But it's good for member attention, and it's good for getting other people to talk about things, and it's a great place to post news, photos, and events. Most of the people that fan Toastmasters pages are other Toastmasters from other groups. Toastmasters on Twitter. Anybody here on Twitter? One person, okay. Twitter is one of those things when I talk about it, most people say, I don't get it. There's a lot you can do with Twitter even if you're never going to sign up for an account. The nice thing about Twitter is you can use it as a feed. So if you set up a Facebook fan page, for example, and a blog, you can set them up to automatically feed that information into Twitter. And that information is in your handouts, how to set that up. It's great for search engine optimization. Search engines actually really like Twitter, and they like the content that's put out there. Member retention. More and more people are getting on Twitter because it's growing. Member news. Again, just like Facebook and blog, can serve as an outlet. Connecting with other Toastmasters and clubs. Statistically, in doing some studies of Toastmasters around the world, I have found more Toastmasters using blogs and Twitter and LinkedIn than using Facebook, believe it or not. You can talk to other Toastmasters all over the world. You can also source local people. So there's some directories out there that you can find in Hartford, for example. Here's all the people that live in Hartford. I can connect with them. So you, as opposed to Facebook, where you're relying on people to come to you, Twitter, you can actually go out and find people and connect with them. So HP Toastmasters. Don't expect to get 1,000 followers on Twitter unless you're going to be really active on it. But you can still use it for information. I use Twitter for a lot of reasons. For example, I connect with Toastmasters. I connect with other business community people that I associate with, chamber members, my two chambers I belong to. But I also use it for a news source. When somebody writes a speaking-oriented blog, or a Toastmasters blog that I'm interested in, instead of having to go online and search for their blog to read it, I can subscribe to them. So anytime they post a new blog post, I get a notification saying, hey, this is about XXX, and I have that choice whether to read it or not. I also have a news feed, so all my local traffic, my weather, my crime reports, Hartford Current, one-stop shopping for news. So it's very useful, even if you're not going to actively use Twitter, to use it for content, use it for information and news.
Is that one free too? Or?
Yep, these are all free. I like free. Free is good.
Yeah, it works for me.
Google Plus is fairly new. When they came out with it, it was supposed to be Facebook's competition. It hasn't really gravitated towards that. But Google Plus, again, like Blogger, is really great for search engine optimization. Unlike Facebook, you can sign up for a personal account as a Toastmasters group or a business/community page. It doesn't really seem to matter, and Google doesn't care. So member retention, member news. There are lots of other Toastmaster clubs on Google. they're growing daily. When Google Plus first came out, there was a grand total of 3. Now there's about 3,000 plus. There's more joining every day. Content sourcing. More and more people are putting news events on here. Like Facebook, if you have a speech contest and you took 70 photos, post them on Facebook or post them on Google Plus. You can also put titles on them, so you can put names on them, you can put information in there. So this is an example of the Google Plus page. Here's the spring conference photos that we posted on there. So content sourcing. Now, if you're going to use social media, I recommend only doing 2, unless you have a lot of extra time on your hands. Nobody can do everything and do it well. Feel free to experiment with the stuff you're going to use or not use. If you're not going to use it, if you create a Twitter account and you've decided you're not going to use it, delete it. Nothing looks worse is if you're going to advertise you're using Facebook. People go and check out your Facebook fan page that you've connected from your website, and the last post was last November. It doesn't look good. So if you're not going to use it, don't advertise it. Take it down. But again, just do 2. If you feel the need to do more, embrace that. But have some sort of presence online. That's how you're going to get found. Now, Google Alerts, google.com/alerts. Content on Toastmasters social media does not necessarily have to be about Toastmasters. You want to keep it nice, but it's interesting, our area governor in Connecticut, boy, does he need Toastmasters, man. He is the worst speaker on earth. When we had the October snowstorm, where we didn't have power for a week, I had to suffer through on my battery-operated radio a full hour of him going, and I just wanted to pull my hair out. He needs some speaking skills desperately. And it was interesting following some Twitter information that are talking about Toastmasters and talking about our lovely governor. How many people agreed with me about that? So it's funny because you want to be nice and not poke fun about people, but if you see something online, you watched a TV program, you can comment about that. Everything is content. It doesn't necessarily have to be Toastmasters. Some of the best speaking blogs out there are put out by non-Toastmasters. Has anybody heard of Unmarketing? Okay, Unmarketing is, he's a guru. Very few people in my marketing world are gurus. Lots of people call themselves gurus. He is truly a guru. He has spoken all over the world. He is not a Toastmaster. He knows what he's doing. If you watch him, he is funny as hell. But you can tell he's not a Toastmaster. But he has some great speaking tips. He came out with a blog that he reposted from last year, 30 tips for public speaking. A lot of those are really, really relevant to people that are speaking. That's content. So it doesn't matter where it's coming from. The only important part is you give people attribution and you give them credit for it.
And who did you say that was again?
Oh, Unmarketing. His name is Scott Stratton.
Thank you.
Yep. Twitter, again, even if you're not going to use Twitter, use it as a source of content to post. There is a facility called Lists out there, where you're not following people, you're putting them on a list, which makes it helpful to segment things, segment information, segment people. There's Social Oomph and Paperly. Both of these should be on your handouts. Those are content sourcing information from people that are posting on Twitter. They go into your email box as often as you choose. So YouTube videos, SlideShare. Many people forget about SlideShare. There are a lot of presentations on there that you can use for content. Again, the important part is give them attribution for things. Don't take others' content. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No?
How much time do you spend on a computer?
I spend about 12 hours a day.
Okay.
How much time should you spend as a VPPR? Would that be more
That's a good
appropriate?
question, yeah.
Okay, I would say if you can spend about 10 minutes a week, that should be more than enough.
Okay.
Okay? Is that doable for everybody? I mean, if you can spend more, that's great. I mean, you'll find that Toastmasters, when you start connecting with other people, especially on social media, There's a lot of other venues, there's personal hobbies, there's business-related things that you'll all run into and interconnect with, so it can be very helpful for that. Anybody else? No? Okay. Again, I just have to reinforce, VP of membership, you guys should be joined at the hip, telepathically communicating with each other. Okay? Thank you, folks.
This is a great presentation.
Yes,
Well, thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I didn't get to put the 10-minute thing on.
Oh, good, okay. Well, good, I'm actually surprised. They did say we had extra time, but
What's your last name, Heather?
Turner.
Turner?
Yep, Turner, like Ted Turner, only unfortunately not
Oh,
as
yeah.
rich. I do have to mention something. Many of these things, and some of it's in the handouts, but some of it as you find tutorials online, a lot of it can be automated. Facebook came out with something about a month ago where you can pre-schedule posts. So if you have events going on in your Toastmasters club, you can put them in ahead of time. You know, take 5 minutes when you're having your morning coffee, plug the information in to go out at dated intervals. Twitter has several things that you can use. One is, my favorite personally, is Buffer. So if you have information you're going to post about your club or blogs you came across or other interesting comment, you can schedule it to go out and you don't have to be at your computer. I was at a networking meeting a couple of days ago, and the guy I'm sitting next to says, "Hey, you're posting something on Twitter," and you're sitting next to me, and I didn't have my phone with me. So it's kind of nice, because if you tweet, for example, or Facebook, or any of this other social media, you don't want to post, because people get sick of that. You want to try to spread things out a little bit. So in there, if you have any questions about anything in the handouts, again, I encourage you, please email me, please call me. I'm best reached during the week, Monday through Friday from 6 to 6.
Is it, do you have your email?
If you Google for thing, or I have a card.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
All right, well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.